What's going on, cigar world? What's going on, cigar enthusiasts? This is Jack, the cigar enthusiast, and I'm back with another video. And today, we're learning how to properly season a humidor. So with that being said, strap in, buckle up, and let's go. Before we get started, obviously you see I have my humidor right here in front of me. We're going to go ahead and dive into that. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, press all so you can get all the latest content from Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. Today we're going over one of the most important things that I think a lot of people tend to not know about, because I see it so many times on the internet and I'm always giving people suggestions on how to actually season their humidor. But they were smoking on the Villdares SuperFly, which you can find at DapperDcigars.com, and also this humidor in which we will be seasoning, which is Portfino, you can also find at DapperDcigars.com under the humidor section. So with that being said, let's dive in. The thing to really understand about humidors that I think a lot of people tend to not know or forget about is you start putting cigars in one of these beautiful things, even though they are constructed in order to hold humidity or remove humidity based on the Spanish cedar inside, there is one integral part that you must not forget in this process of actually seasoning these. Now, a lot of times people have problems, containing humidity, keeping the temperature good. That stuff we're gonna dive into, especially as we go through the seasoning process. But one thing I have been seeing people doing lately is using Velveeta packs as a substitute to seasoning your humidor. I must debunk something real quick, right? I love Velveeta packs. They do really well in containing the moisture and regulating the moisture and the temperature of cigars in Ziploc bags, in small humidors, in travel size humidors. But I am not a fan of simply seasoning your humidor with Velveeta packs. Must I tell you, that is a very, very expensive way to season your humidor. And me, quite frankly, this is why you have so many troubles getting that temperature and the humidity within the box. Now, understanding this, I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, I'm not a fan of it. There is an easier way to do it, which is the way I'm going to show you, which is the old school way of seasoning your humidor. That's going to really allow your humidor to be perfect. And the only thing you'll have to add is some distilled water here and there. Watch out this humidor. This is what we call the Portfino. It has a digital hygrometer on the front of it, which regulates your temperature as well as your humidity within this box. It also has this fancy, nice glass top. And one thing about glass top humidors that I really want you to get very familiar with is this type of humidor cannot have any exposure to windows or anything that reflects the sunlight in. Why? Because when the sun appeared, because glass attracts heat. And one thing about these humidors, if you don't put them in the correct location within your house, you will never fully regulate your temperature, because this is going to, again, create and radiate heat within your box, causing your humidity to decrease, and that is a bad day for cigars. So today we're going to really apply the rule of 70-70, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 degrees humidity. That is a perfect scenario in which you should keep your cigars in all time. Right here is not your regular wood. This is what you call Spanish cedar. Spanish cedar is special for cigars because it soaks up moisture and also allows the cigars to really be able to stay self-regulated within the box. This one has a tray on the top, which also has a removable section. This beautiful box right here, right? Two things that you do need for this operation in order to really season this humidor, and that is what you call, this big baby of distilled water. You can get this at the store for $1, $2. During the COVID season, this is something that people were ordering. I would imagine for their babies or something like that. But to get this at the store is really cheap. It's really nothing to it. And then you want to have a either a sponge or a lint-free rag. A sponge or a lint-free rag. One thing you don't want to do is don't go to your closet and use this regular hand towel that you typically wash your face with in there. It's going to create cotton residue within your humidor, and once it gets on there, it's really hard to get off. Trust me, you don't want to do it. So instead of using this big old jug of distilled water, I have put it in one of my big humidors, little trays. So let's dive into this. I'll just start with the extremities, or the things that you know that you can remove off the jump. With the outside things, or the things that is removed before I get to the box, it's easier. Whichever way you start, it really does not matter. One thing about your hygrometer, this is what you call pretty much water pillow for your humidor. So what you do is you'll put some distilled water on it, and they have like little screens in there, and if you can see, they also have like little pillows in there. The distilled water will soak up in there, and this would be great. It will release as it needs to inside of the humidor based on your temperature and your humidity. This is the place you put it, right? Or sometimes you'll have double-sided tape where you can just stick it on the top of this. Obviously, we're not going to stick anything on the top of this because it is a glass. So this is this little neat invention that they created to hold it. Me personally, I scratch those. Why? Because what I realize is that yes, they're there for a reason, but I have more trouble keeping the water in, and putting too much water on it, and yada yada yada. If I'm having that same problem, I'm sure that you're gonna probably have that same problem as well. So I usually just kind of throw those away, or just take them out and keep them, collect them, whatever you want to do. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take our sponge, we're gonna dip it in our distilled water, and again, you don't want to soak it up. This is just a wiping technique that you're going to use. So you just wipe it. You want to get every single extremity, every single corner, every single piece of wood you want to wipe down. Now, if you see it start getting a little bit too wet, that is not good. You want to just kind of dry it up with your sponge. And again, get those corners. This is something I do for my customers. That way they don't have to worry about it. I mean, my thing is, when you buy a humidor or when you buy cigars, it should not really, be too much that you got to do. Remember, I told you, not everybody thinks like that, right? So some people, buy cigars or manufacture cigars or sell cigars, and the first thing they do is they put them on the shelf instead of, giving them a little time to cure and, giving them a little time to adapt and make sure that they're good to go. So again, you see this is kind of wet. Here, do the same thing. Simple. Again, you want to do any piece of wood, no matter the purpose of it, you want to do it. Trust me when I sit here and I tell you that. All right. All right. Next, we're going to move over. We have the other pieces done. We're going to move to the actual humidor. As you see this part, we're going to go ahead and start the process here. And you're simply going to wipe every single part of this humidor down with the sponge. Again, you don't want to leave any dry areas. If you do, again, you're just giving yourself a chance to kind of mess up your cigars, or not be able to, I wouldn't say mess up your cigars. I would say be able to regulate the temperature and humidity within your box. Now, with this phase, right, for all my Velveeta seasoners, you do not need to include a Velveeta pack inside of here once you're done with this. Now, if you do, tell you what, if you do, you could experience, and I keep saying could experience, higher humidity within your actual box. So, you've been warned. So, you keep wiping it down. Again, no area is left dry. All right. Now, just because they're the edges, that don't mean you don't do them. You do inside of here. Again, we want every single piece of wood taken care of. I'm gonna get there, got to get the edging. All right. Get all of that. And I'm telling you, it's this simple. So we're gonna take this, so we want to get that off the glass. Not that it matters, but I mean, it's gonna create streaks. You don't want streaks when you're looking inside. All right. So here, this is the most important part. So you have your humidor, it's all wiped down. Personally, take it away from you guys for about 2 seconds and really get it all soaked up how I will want it. So here you see it's reflecting and shining. There's no dry spot. Then when you get to this side, you see there's no dry spots. Good. Now the most important part, actually I found one. Now the most important part, you put these back in there, and what you're gonna do is you're not going to touch this thing for 2 days. 2 days. That means once I close that lid, I would not mess with this for 48 hours. 48 hours. Don't go in there and check it. Don't smell it. Don't do any of that stuff. Leave it alone for that time duration. On your humidity control device, whatever you're using, whether it's a digital or a classic one with the knobs and different things of that nature, you'll be able to read on there 70 degrees and 70% humidity. That is no lie. That is a promise. Everybody I have done that for or told that to has been great. Now, about a month after you seal this thing, you start putting your sticks in, your wood is going to eventually dry out. Not dry out in a bad way, but dry out to the point where you're gonna add something to it. That's when these little things really come in handy. Now, like I said, I usually scratch those, and what I usually do is I would take a regular shot glass, fill it up with distilled water, and put it in whatever corner opposite of where majority of your sticks is. Now, it could be right next to your sticks. Is nothing in the world saying that if distilled water is next to your stick, it's going to create moisture. Reason why I say put it away from your sticks, because if it does spill a little bit, it can create mildew within your cigar, and it really creates a bad humidor when that happens. So with that being said, that is how you season a humidor. No Velveeta packs, simply a sponge and some freaking distilled water. How simple, right? Seal for 48 hours. After a month has went by, take a shot glass, fill it up with distilled water, put it in a corner, you're done. The only thing that you will have to do from here on out to maintain this humidor is every 6 months do the wipe down like I just displayed, as well as continue to fill up that shot glass as the water dissipates. With that being said, I'm Jack, the cigar enthusiast. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video to all of your people that are having the same problems that majority of people are having. If you haven't already, go visit me at dapperDcigars.com for the purchase of this humidor, the cigars, any other cigar humidor in which you like. With that being said, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm